Hello and welcome, I'm Oles Garjuk and you're watching Head to Head with UATV. Ukraine's state electronic procurement system, ProZorro, has helped to save over $2.5 billion for the country's budget since it was introduced 4 years ago. More than 215,000 entrepreneurs benefited from using the platform, and among them, over 80% of companies represent small businesses. Just to remind you, the main advantage of the ProZorro system is open data on all purchases. It enables any business, regardless of its volume or country of origin, to participate in Ukrainian government tenders. So how effective has the system been so far? To talk more about this, we're joined in the studio today by Vasyl Zadvorny, CEO of ProZorro. Hello and thank you for joining us.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Well, I would like to discuss you some main new features of ProZorro system. I know that you have launched a new one in April, then in May, and the third one in June. So could you please tell us about the one that was launched in April? It's called e-catalog. So could you tell us what is that and how is it being used?
Well, basically, talking about the new features in the ProZorro, we're not talking about like several features, but rather about three major streams we are currently developing and focusing on. First of this stream is the stream of procurement centralization. And among them, e-catalog is probably the major feature of its centralization.
Centralization meaning that you want to have the database, that everything, I mean, all the information would be centralized?
Really. Not really. So just to give you an overview of the issue, we currently have around like 30,000 of contracting authorities, like schools, hospitals, which procure something. And among them, around 50% procures no more than 5 procurements per year. So
which is not much.
Yeah, which is, I mean, sometimes I change the oil in my car also like 5 times per year, and I'm really not a professional in doing this. So we cannot think that this contracting authority would be the professional in the procurement as well.
So there would be 15,000 bugs happening per year.
Yeah. Moreover, the volume of this procurement is pretty low. So it's like the vast majority of this procurement are under thresholds procurement, which means that they are too low. Sometimes it's really difficult to find the competitors who will participate in it, and so on and so forth. And that's why one of the major focus of procurement development all over the globe is the procurement centralization, means like categorization of such procurement and implementing the features which allows to increase the volume of the procurement, still keeping the requirements of all these small contracting authorities. That's why at the end of the previous year we already launched the frameworks agreement. It's the first part of this procurement centralization, and that's the tool that allows to contract not with only one supplier, but with a number of these suppliers, and then within the small auctions take the part of the required software and goods. And e-catalogs is the logic continuous of this idea. When we create, well, it's like Amazon electronic shop for small procurements. So we do have these professional entities called centralized procurement body, which basically qualify the suppliers and their goods for these e-catalogs. And that is like only one event. Within this event, all the suppliers go through the qualification procedure, and after that, their goods appears on the e-shops.
So basically, this is not about the offer. This is not about the call, but this is about the offer, actually.
Yeah. It's much more about the offer. So it works pretty look like Amazon or eBay.
Online store.
Yeah, online store.
Of services and
online
goods.
Store, which we all come on to use in our everyday life. So and after this, all the contracting authority is required to do is just to go to this online shop, put the good in the cart, and press the button, and that's it. And then they can sign the contract and get the good, and that's it.
So you cannot buy it on e-catalog, but you can go on a link that refers to the online shop?
Well, these e-catalogs is the part of the ProZorro. So you go to basically to the ProZorro.
And then you buy it.
Yeah, and then you buy it. Still, these e-catalogs works only for the under thresholds procurement. Because only on...
And what is the threshold? Could you please remind us?
The threshold right now is 200,000 hryvnias. It's like 6,000–7,000 of United States dollars for goods and services. So it's not really big, but if you would like to buy, I don't know, 2 laptops or kind of tea or coffee or paper for printing something.
For office, you can use e-catalog.
Yeah, you can use e-catalog right now.
What happens above the threshold?
About the thresholds, the only tool which is available right now is the usage of centralized purchased body. At the end of the previous year, Cabinet of Ministry adopted the secondary level regulation, which allows to create centralized purchased body. And right now we are waiting for 2 centralized purchased body to be admitted by the Cabinet of Ministry. One of them is state-owned enterprise medical procurement, which was created by Ministry of Healthcare, and second of them is the professional procurement. It's a state-owned enterprise that was created by the Ministry of Economical Development and Trade. So if you would like to buy something on the above the threshold, you then just can outsource this procurement to a centralized procurement body. And they will just create a tender documentation, announce a call, invite the suppliers, select the winner, and then everything you need to do is just to sign the contract. So the idea...
The procedure is very simplified.
Yeah, the procedure will be really simplified for both contracting authority, and which is also very important for the controlling bodies as well. So again, right now we do have approximately 4,000 procedures being announced on a daily basis.
Wow.
So, like, yeah, on a daily basis, you should control like almost 4,000 procurement procedure if you would like to control everything. And definitely, it's kind of
tough.
Yeah, tough task. On another hand, with the implementation of the centralized purchase body, you will centralize a lot of procurement on the level of centralized purchase body, and you just need to watch on the centralized purchase body rather than on like all schools or all hospitals in Ukraine. So yeah, the e-catalogs is one of these bricks in the stream of procurement centralization. But it's, yeah.
You also told us about the categorization of businesses. Does this mean that you kind of divide right now the participants onto the small and medium, large or micro scale of business?
Yeah, it's interesting that you asked about this feature as well. In order to be aligned with the EU regulation, Ukraine also have to implement several tools which will stimulate micro businesses and small and medium enterprises, and that's why we also implemented the feature that will help to distinguish the small enterprises from the big one. So yeah, definitely right now we can approximately estimate the level of small enterprises involvement up to 80%, but in order to have much more precise data, we need to develop system as well. And in order to develop small and medium enterprises, we're also working on several other services. For example, at the beginning of June, we started this logistic project, which basically, basically is focused to help small and medium enterprises to expand their market from their place of origin.
So basically they are searching for logistic services in ProZorro.
Basically yes, and the issue is that if you are like a small farmer and you're producing, I don't know, potatoes or
and you
like
don't know
chickens,
how to sell them
I mean your market sometimes is limited by the radius of driving on your own car.
Yes.
So, and we do have this request from the suppliers. Could you please select the procurement in the 200-kilometer radius from my house? Because only in this radius I can drive myself and ship the goods. On another hand, we have really big market of logistic services. So what what we did is just to invite the logistic companies like Ukropost, Newpost, Nova Poshta, delivery in time in the ProZorro, so they can provide a logistic estimation to these small and medium enterprises, and then these small and medium enterprises they do not have to search all over the internet of how to ship their goods.
And call every
to conduct
service,
to conduct a lot of negotiations with the logistics.
They get the proposals.
To get the proposals. And by the way, right now the average time to get the answer from logistics companies is no more than 10 minutes. So like
10 minutes only?
Yeah, like in 10 minutes you can get an estimation how much will it cost to ship your goods from your storage to the contracting authority, and we hope that will help our suppliers to increase their market to the whole of the Ukraine. And another part of this story, I will continue, is to work with the payments, because again, for the small and medium enterprises, and sometimes for those who basically produces the services, the cash flow is really an issue. And we implemented this feature at the beginning of the March, and we right now see that in the vast majority cases, government use post payment. So, like in 70-80% of cases, government pays after you complete the contract. And like in 30% cases, the payment terms is more than 30 days. So sometimes the cash flow might be really an issue. That's why we are currently working with the factoring companies as well, in order to provide the financial services to the suppliers, so they can get the money as early as they can, rather than wait for the payment for the government. So they will pay a little percentage for this funds usage, but they'll get the money just after signing the contracts, and then the contracting authority will pay in like 60-day period or kind of that. On another hand, by the way, it's really interesting, since although the government uses this post payment, still the prepayment amount is also pretty big. For example, in May, the amount of money that government is ready to pay just after the contract signature is more than 6 billion of hryvnias.
6 billion?
6 billion per month, yeah. So that's the amount of money that you can get just after winning the tender and signing the contract.
This is great. And what is the demand from businesses taking part in the tenders?
So we currently see slightly increasing in the competencies level. Last year, this time we do have approximately competencies on the level of 2.27, 2.28, means 2.28 participants per one procurement. Right now, this figure is a little bit more than 2.47, so we are slightly increasing the competencies. And hopefully it's because of new services we are introducing. Yeah,
well, that's true. It's getting more comfortable to use the system. But speaking of this 6 billion hryvnias, I mean, could you evaluate how big is this figure in terms of the procedures that you're conducting with the ProZorro system?
Well, basically, let's try to estimate. So, within 1 year, almost 1 trillion of hryvnia is being paid, is being contracted through the ProZorro system. So that's mean like almost 100 billion hryvnias are being paid on the monthly basis. That's mean that's like 6 billion is like 6-8%.
6-8% that the state would cover.
The state will pay just after the contract signature.
Yes, with a short delay. And the very last question, because unfortunately we run out of time, could you unveil some other feature for us that you planned on implementing until the end of this year?
Well,
maybe we would have some short advertisement.
So, within the nearest week, we are waiting for implementation of integration with the state fiscal services, so to get the references from the state fiscal services on an automatically basis that will meet these requirements for the suppliers to get the paper from the state fiscal services. Also, till the end of the year, we are expecting the implementation of the same integration with the Ministry of Internal Affairs and with State Treasury Service as well. We definitely will develop the e-catalog further in order to expand the number of commodities and goods that are proposed there. The function for centralized purchased body will be developed as well till the end of the year to make it as easy to request the services as it would be in e-catalogs. So you will just push the button and get the request to the centralized purchased body. We are also working on the developing of frameworks agreements and state audit services features, because we still have to remember that the justice requirements is still pretty high on the market, and we should pay a lot of attention in order to ensure the justice.
Sounds great and sounds like a lot of work to do. So wishing you best of luck in fulfilling all these tasks. So far, I thank you for being a guest today in our studio, and thank you for the information that you provided.
Thank you a lot.
That was Vasyl Zadvorny, CEO of ProZorro. Thank you for watching Head to Head, and stay tuned for more with UATV.